It's Friday and time for Friday's devotional. Do you ever pray and not expect God to answer? And you didn't get the answer because God answers according to our faith. There's a great story with the disciples and they failed to heal a young man's son, and Jesus shows up and succeeds in healing the young man's son. And they ask, why couldn't they do it? And Jesus explained, and he tells them the story, and he goes, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can move this mountains. And it's just taking a little bit of faith. See, the problem is we get confused between believing and faith. Belief says, I have a knowledge, I have an understanding, I know something. Where faith says, I not only believe it, but I trust it, and I have a commitment to it. Maybe a better story for that is seen in the story of Elijah. Just after the success of Mount Carmel, he had to go back up to the mountain and begin to pray. It had been a drought for 3.5 years, just as God had said, and it was time for the drought to end. And God called Elijah to the mountain to pray. And so he goes on the mountain and he prays, and he puts his head down before God, and he asks God for the rain, and he sends his servant to check on it. The servant comes back and says, no, there's no clouds, there's nothing coming. He does it 7 times. And on the 8th time, the servant comes back and says, there's a small black cloud coming from the west. A small black cloud. I love that story. He had to pray 8 times, and it was only a small black cloud. That's it. But God was moving, and he knew it. He trusted God. He believed in God. It was that small black cloud. It's that small mustard seed faith that gets God to work. See, persistent prayer. See, there's a difference between believing, a knowledge and an understanding, and a faith, a trust, and a commitment. So I want to ask, what types of prayers do you pray? Do you pray with trust and a commitment? Or do you pray with a hoping belief that God will answer? God answers according to our faith. And it's not how big the faith is. It's only the faith that we have. Not just believe, but have faith. I believe a God who says, if we ask in Jesus' name, he answers. So I want to encourage you to have faith this morning. Make your prayers a prayer of faith and see what God will do. Not just believing, but trusting faith that God moves great mountains in your life. God bless you. Take care. Getting ready for Sunday. I'll see you then. We're going to have a great time together. Love ya.